Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Radcast, which is episode 2 of Guy, Fawkes and Jamen. And in this episode, we are going to root down into who we are and where we are coming from. And we're going to start with Professor Guy McPherson. Guy?
Thanks, Jamen. It's a pleasure to be back with you again. After that initial raucous, somewhat rambling episode, we decided maybe we should describe who we are and where we're coming from. I'll go first. I'm Guy McPherson. I'm Professor Emeritus of Conservation Biology at the University of Arizona. I was on campus for 20 years. For a year before that, I was a visiting assistant professor at Texas A&M University. I've been studying conservation biology for a really very long time. And I come at the topic of abrupt climate change from the perspective of a conservation biologist. Conservation biologists study 3 primary phenomena: speciation, or how a species, such as the species Homo sapiens, comes into existence. What are the precursors? Who are the species that came before us that we evolved from to become something different? And extinction. Species go away. We're currently driving some 200 species to extinction every single day. And as with all species, of course, at some point, our favorite species, Homo sapiens, will go extinct as well. None of us want that to happen, certainly not on our watch, but that's the second of 3 underpinnings of conservation biology. So we're talking about speciation, we're talking about extinction, and finally, and perhaps most importantly, conservation biologists talk about habitat, because all organisms require a certain number of fundamental phenomena to occur for them to exist. So I depend upon water, food, something to maintain my body temperature, usually a combination of shelter and clothing. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm a conservation biologist with many years of active service at a major research university, and I'm delighted to have this conversation with Fawkes and Jamen. And with that, let's turn it over to you. You can tell us what your story is.
Over to you, Fawkes.
No pun intended. Yes, fantastic, Mr. Fawkes. Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. I'm here as sort of a reincarnation, if you will, re-embodiment of Fawkes, Guy Fawkes, from the early 17th century gun plot episode, where Guy Fawkes, with his cohorts, attempted to blow up Parliament in 1605 on November 5th. And that meme, which it has resonated now perhaps more loudly than ever before, even though there has been a Guy Fawkes night for decades now, perhaps centuries, as far as I know, to essentially draw attention to tyranny and to take a stand. Of course, the gun plot, the gunpowder treason is not something to be taken literally, as far as, you know, where we're concerned in terms of what we stand for. But this, of course, has become a popular meme in the imagination, right? The imaginaire of revolutionaries around the world, taken up, of course, by Anonymous, the hackers, and many others. But it simply makes a statement. I would even call it a socially symbolic act against tyranny, against the powers that would bind us, that would essentially rule over us. And this, I think, more than anything else, it's a statement of freedom, a freedom from said tyranny, a freedom to be yourself, and to not take yourself as being, you know, some clog in a machine. So I'm Fawkes. I'm happy to be here, and I would like to turn your attention now to Jamen.
Thank you, Fawkes, and thank you, Guy. My name is Jamen Shively, and I am here to radicalize you. And by that I mean to go with you to all of you, all of us, and all of you who are watching and choose to join. And in fact, just by watching, you're participating. So thank you for participating. I am here to root down with all of us, with all of you, all of us. It's one. Let's finally see ourselves as one and operate as such, where we all contribute the very best of what we have to contribute to this collective effort to root down and, for lack of a better word, solve the world's most daunting problems. Reverse abrupt climate change, if it's possible to do so, and otherwise holistically address all the world's most daunting problems. And just a little bit more about me: I studied engineering in undergrad and grad school, focusing on environmental engineering and ultimately hydroclimatology, the various levers that we could use at the level of the surface of the earth, surface water and groundwater, to actually impact climate in benevolent ways. And so from there, I went into the private sector, studied artificial intelligence and applied it in a consulting context. Did work for major corporations internationally, notably Cemex, based in Mexico, the world's most profitable cement company. One of the reasons they are the most profitable is we created a system to optimize simultaneously and holistically optimize production planning and logistics planning via all modes of transport: trucking, rail, steamship, and with amazing results. And so over time, you know, my life story is that through the intelligent application of incredibly powerful technologies such as artificial intelligence and modeling technologies, we can actually optimize very, very complex systems. And so after serving as a corporate strategy manager at Microsoft and really trying to do some radical things there that would change the world, I left Microsoft to focus on how do we end hunger, and started creating a model and a system for modeling and optimizing agriculture and food distribution holistically, both to end hunger and also to heal the planet through regenerative agriculture. And from there, seeing that no matter how we sliced it, we need a budget of approximately $50 billion per year in order to end hunger in the short term, while the kind of medium term and longer term projects kick in, for which we need additional budget. Bottom line, we needed money. And so along comes legalization of cannabis. And with my legacy of my great grandfather, Diego Pellicer, being the largest grower of hemp in the world in the Victorian era, and being a beautiful man with a great handlebar mustache, created a brand of premium cannabis based on his legacy and his name, and got a lot of attention and rekindled my relationship with former Mexican President Vicente Fox, F-O-X. And together we co-organized 4 different events that summer of 2013 for ending prohibition and promoting responsible legalization and regulation. So anyway, that became, and from the get-go, I committed 100% of the profits, my share of the profits from the business, to go directly to ending world hunger. And I hope to start a trend that evolved into the compassionate economy, the standard CCC certified compassionate companies, and with tremendous leadership and co-founding from you, we created Radish. And we are co-creating Radish. Radish is a co-creation of all of us. As far as I'm concerned, it's as much Guy's as it is anyone else's. And I am currently serving as president of Radish, radish.org, and we're all about co-creating radical collective intelligence so that we can all come together and co-create all of the solutions which will work together holistically to simultaneously and holistically address all of the world's most daunting problems, including but not limited to abrupt climate change. That's my story. Over to you, gentlemen.
Well, you bring up something that I like to talk about in my presentations, and particularly when I'm in a college classroom. We've each given our bio, as it were.
Yeah.
Our sort of superficial, this is what I've done. These are hints about what the show is going to pursue, what kind of routes we're going to take in future episodes. But what we haven't told you, although it might be evident to some people, what we haven't told you, and this is a question I like to ask people, I'll set this up a little bit.
Yeah.
So when you're at a party, somebody comes up and you introduce yourselves. Hi, Jamen, I'm Guy. Hi, Guy, I'm Jamen. Jamen says, Guy, what do you do? And generally that means, how do you make money?
Yeah.
And the question really is, are you so successful in the money-making system that I need to spend some time with you and maybe leverage you so I can end up in a better position in my life than I'm right now, right? I mean, that might be a little cynical, but
Sure.
but we've all had that experience.
Yeah, totally.
And so people ask me what I do at a party, and I tell them things like, well, I'm a homesteader, and so what that means is I know how to milk goats. Yeah, that hand you just shook actually was on a goat's udder not that long ago. And then, the person is backing up.
Yeah.
Like, this is more than I bargained for.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm a professor emeritus of conservation biology at a major research institution. And really what I like to do is remind people that they're going to die. And at this point, the person is just looking around nervously like, honey, we need to go. And then I ask them the killer question, which has them run out the door as if their hair's on fire. Jamen, what do you love?
Yeah.
Not what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you love? And I think what we love tells us a lot more about ourselves, maybe more than we want to share.
Yeah.
Than telling somebody what we do. And so maybe we should have that conversation.
Let's do it.
As awkward as it might be.
Let's do it. I'm happy to dive in. Do you want to start, or who do you nominate to start?
Well, Fawkes is such a sketchy character that I'm not sure how much he's going to contribute to this. Obviously, he's a lover of freedom, and personally, I find this conversation quite liberating.
Yes.
Speaking of freedom.
Yeah.
I'll start, and then maybe we can kick it over to Fawkes.
Sure.
And see if he gives us the real version of him, or the masked version of him.
Very good.
I look forward to that.
Very good.
I love life, and as a conservation biologist, that's what I've been studying for a very long time. I'm not particularly afflicted by the arrogance of humanism, one of the great book titles of all time. A book put together by a conservation biologist, David Ehrenfeld. The arrogance of humanism. Rather, I love being a human, don't get me wrong, and I recognize some of the characteristics of being human, but I don't think I'm particularly afflicted with the arrogance of humanism. We do some things really, really well. We are very clever, and we're one of many species on the planet. Perhaps about 1 trillion, according to the refereed journal, which tends to be very conservative. About 1 trillion species. We're one of 1 trillion on the planet right now. And we've been here for 200,000 years, more or less. So the species Homo sapiens has been in existence about 200,000 years. Our universe, one of probably an infinite number of universes, our universe is approximately 14 billion years old. Our species is 200,000 years old. And we have the arrogance to think this whole thing is all about us. Well, if it's all about us, the universe was very patient, waiting for us to show up. So I love life. I love the universe. I love learning. I love teaching. I love interacting with other human beings who are interested in having a conversation that essentially nobody else is willing to have. I'm interested in going deep with that conversation of becoming truly radical and becoming radicalized myself. I love a lot of things. I love living instead of making a living. I love eating, but that seems sort of superficial. I love eating ice cream, and I'm sort of known for that when I go on tour. But those are, again, sort of superficial things. I love living instead of making a living. I love life. I love the privilege I've enjoyed my whole life. I love that I can recognize that privilege of being Caucasian and of a certain age and born in a certain place. And a lot of people are unwilling to even acknowledge that privilege that they enjoy from the time and place and the parents to whom they were born. So I like having that conversation. That's why I so enjoy the concept of this conversation as an ongoing series of conversations. Fawkes, how about you?
Well, whenever I attend a cocktail party, which is my want, I often ask people, what puts a smile on your face? And that usually takes people by surprise. It's a personal question. I suppose it's the same question as what do you love to do, not what do you do. What I do, I suppose, what I represent, at least in my as my masked self, is I represent the very fact that we're all wearing a mask, right? The fact that when you do go to a cocktail party, if you're privileged enough to attend one, that people, wear their faces rather playfully, as it were, realizing that at the end of the day, we're all a part of a struggle. We're all a struggle that is both joyous and often devastating to people and the planet. The fact that at this point in history, we're up against the very real prospect of basically becoming, if not extinct, becoming so seriously inhibited as a species that we're no longer able to function in a way that any sane person would call healthy. And so I suppose the mask that I wear, the mask of Guy Fawkes, is simply saying, what mask do you wear? Why are you here? I am here because, as Jamen eloquently put it, I suppose as Harvey Milk put it, I want to radicalize you. I've found a certain freedom in rooting down to who I am, what I'm about. Of course, it's a process, it's a journey. It's not a claim to have arrived somewhere transcendental. It's simply saying, look, I'm a part of the struggle that you're a part of. There's a lot of pain and a lot of pleasure. But at the end of the day, we need to roll our sleeves up and figure out how we're going to turn this ship around, if that's even possible. And I suppose as the embodiment, right, the face of anti-tyranny, which is, I think, something that most people would say that they're also against, is to look at those systems that have essentially set us up for failure, right? We've set ourselves up for failure precisely because we have put individual prerogatives, success stories, etc., above that of universal freedom. The sense that we're simply not free if we're slaves to a system that causes so much suffering to people on the planet. And frankly, if the ship goes down like the Titanic, it makes it doesn't matter who you are, what your social status is, you're going down too, and perhaps all the more in all the more shameful a way, precisely because you tried to save your own skin at the expense of so many others that didn't happen to be born in the same time and place, to receive the same education. And I think we need to essentially give the voice, a word which goes back to vox, which is the same as vote, back to the people, so that democratic principles, that of the demos, of the people, simply has the power that now is nothing more than a facade reserved for the oligarchs, essentially under a plutocratic system that says, yes, this is a democratic system, and yes, those with the most money, power, privilege win. Clearly, that's a contradiction in terms. And I think by rooting down, we can at least come closer to seeing what the root of the problems are. And as Fawkes, I suppose that's who I am, at least in my social representation. Just by virtue of wearing this mask, I'm a socially symbolic act that I hope others will somehow see in themselves, ask themselves what mask they wear, and get beyond the superficiality and, let in the light. So that's at least that's how I see myself today. Anyway, back to you, Jamen.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Fawkes. Thank you. So I will answer Guy's question. What do you love? What do you love? I love life. I love children, family. I love my parents. I love my whole extended family. And I love humanity coming together. I think one of the reasons I love family so much is there's so much unity, or there's the potential for so much unity and collaboration and cooperation, and all of us in this together. And I just remember a big family reunion that we had back at the old family farm in southeastern Ohio back in the mid-70s. And we were all there together, and there was just so much unity and love and joy and companionship. And, no matter what room of the house you went to, you were welcome, right? As opposed to this fragmented, separate world. So I really love unity and people coming together and working together, playing together, sharing together. One of my fantasies was to have been born in the hunter-gatherer time. And even if I only made it to age 16, there was the end of my life. Wow, what living during those 16 years, right? Really being part of, I love what I love. Speaking of things I love you guys. I love both of you. I love this community, this space that we're creating together, that we're inviting the world to participate in, where we can all take off our masks and we can all, be who we are and discover that new who we are as part of a decentered whole, as opposed to, I'm this island called Jamen, right? And I just, from the tribal perspective, it's like, hey, I'll go and I'll go. The important thing is that the tribe go on. And, I love getting out and doing some of the things that I do, like, for example, the whole campaign to liberate the state of Washington from criminal drug cartels. That's a great example because I'm putting my life on the line. I may die in the process. But for me, it's about contributing all that I have, all that I can, including my life, if need be, to what I love. And so I love doing that. I love playing all out. I love putting it all on the table. And I love collective intelligence. I love what we're co-creating here and what we're seeking to expand globally by leaps and bounds, to the point that I've made the analogy that I see sort of a cosmic game of chicken shaping up between abrupt climate change, which is here and now and accelerating, and and radical collective intelligence, which has the potential to grow exponentially to many orders of magnitude higher form of intelligence than any collaboration we've ever seen on planet Earth, including NASA and other collaborations of great minds working together and producing amazing results. We ain't seen nothing yet. And I love the potential of humanity coming together. I love radical collective intelligence. I love radicalizing you and myself and the world. And anyway, those are among the things that I love.
You both remind me of Aristotle and his definition of friendship. For Aristotle, and for a few people today, friendship is a relationship that is based on working together. So it's not drinking buddies already, right?
Yeah.
It's working together for the common good. That was Aristotle's definition of friendship.
Wow.
And friends.
Wow.
And so we can have friends that are not drinking buddies and vice versa. But friends are actually working together.
Yes.
For a project that is focused on the common good. And I'd like to think that that's what we're doing with these episodes, in seeking radicalism, in getting to the root and going deep and addressing any number of issues, is that we're focused on the common good. We're not in this for you. We're not in this for me and my ego. We're in this for the common good. Right. We're certainly not in it for Fawkes' ego, because he's wearing the mask even more overtly than we are. So I think that's a great start to the introduction of ourselves.
Yeah.
And the context in which we're pursuing this endeavor.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. I don't have anything to add on this episode.
No, it's like that's 25 or 30 minutes right there. And I think that's a nice introduction to us.
Fawkes, we give you the closing words.
Well, since Guy mentioned Aristotle, I might as well throw Socrates into the mix to drink the hemlock when given a choice to leave the polis, precisely because he said that a man without a city, right, without a community, is hardly human, is a beast. And rather than wander the world alone, he pleaded guilty to having essentially taught the youth a way to the truth, a way to get past superstition, superficiality. He was a true radical, and at the end of the day, he said, "Yes, I'm guilty of that, and I would rather drink the hemlock than wander the world alone."
Wow, beautiful. And I offer this space, this community, to the world as a place where no one is alone. You don't have to be alone. You can join us. Please join us.
Great connection. Socrates was Plato's teacher. Plato was Aristotle's teacher. So we see the lineage there in the conversation that we're having.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. All right. Thank you all for joining us. Please submit your comments in the comments section of this YouTube video, and we'll see you on the next episode.